Hey, everybody, really fascinating discussion to now about AI readiness with a true innovator and expert in the field from Druid AI. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing great. We're going to dive into some really intriguing topics. Before that, maybe introduce yourself, the big idea behind Druid AI, and your journey to Druid AI as well.
Sounds good. Well, I'm the president and CEO here at Druid AI. I've been in the software space for a very, very long time. Running companies, running product organizations over the past about 25 years or so. But for Druid, I'm pretty recent. I'm going on my 8th week now here with the company. But I've been super impressed by all the technology and how our customers are utilizing them. So it's been an incredible journey so far.
And that journey is around a real issue that you raise about readiness. What does AI readiness mean in practical terms, and why are so many companies not ready for AI deployment?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the market, it's enormous. At this point, like if you think about sort of like what McKinsey even published like less than a year ago now at reInvent last year at AWS reInvent. They talk about the market being minimally at $900 billion. So almost everyone is now getting involved in terms of what's happening in AI. But if you saw the MIT report that just recently came out in August, the big headline there was that over 95% of these projects that are getting deployed are failing in production, or at least minimally failing to deliver any kind of real return on investment in production. So a lot of excitement about what's going on. But in reality, as people are playing around with the technology, they're not quite ready to be able to deliver, full out production value yet in their specific enterprises. And for us, we've been looking at this for, almost going on 8 years now, and working with a lot of these customers and making sure that they are succeeding in their environments. In reality, the pieces in terms of readiness that we see that they need is really around two factors, Evan. I think the first piece is around, utilizing a lot of this cool technology, and then what do you actually supplement the technology with so that you can start to get the amount of accuracy that you get out of the agents higher and higher and higher. If you are doing a Google search or using AI agents to do search-like capabilities, I think having your accuracy level around maybe 80% is probably good enough. But if you are now having these agents make decisions for you, and they're actually doing, production-like work, that fidelity of that information, the fidelity of the decision-making has to be way, way higher, if not 100%, nearing 100%. And a lot of the technologies that we have in our platform actually allows you to go do that. The second piece around readiness that we've seen is that when customers rely so much around just the LLMs, they're not able to really control how all of the decision-making is being done. And so from that perspective, you're not able to log the information or dial things up and down. You end up in scenarios where just from a compliance perspective or anything like that you can't be fully compliant, be it to, I don't know if you're in healthcare with HIPAA or, SOC 2 compliance, federal regulations, et cetera. And so that's the other portion that we've really focused on, is how do we make sure that you have all the dials, all the logging capability so that you can pass those regulatory requirements.
So important, so interesting. I just returned from the Gartner Symposium, and this was really one of the headline topics. Only 13% of companies are ready to leverage AI.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple, what are the other big blockers for the other 87%?
Well, I mean, the big blockers, I mean, there's so many, there's so many AI agents that are out there now, Evan. I was joking around with the team that it's getting to a point where it's like going beyond like AI washing at this point. When a lot of times when I go meet with customers, I'm helping them do AI laundry at the moment. We're just, sifting through all the AI laundry and eventually getting to a set of, technologies that will, work for them. And in terms of be it data cleanliness, I know that's a huge, issue, kind of garbage in, garbage out. You can have different approaches to, how that would work, to how do you then build an agent, to be frank. because a lot of the capabilities, even in code generations on previous things. And so like when you're training on those things, you can maybe, I don't know, build a web application or something like that quickly, but building an agent, there's not that many things for you to be able to train on in order for you to be able to author those things very quickly. And so there's a smattering of things, starting with, data to, when should you be using technologies for more generative capabilities of generating videos versus, our core area really around agentic AI, when you're having the agents make decisions and the agent itself actually supplement a lot of the work.
Interesting. And how can organizations kind of assess their current level of AI readiness objectively, given that there's so much they frankly don't know?
I think the first thing to note is, what is the actual business case that you're trying to solve? Like in a really weird way, it kind of comes down to the basics, right? And in that specific business case, are the AI technologies the best technical capability for you to utilize for you to be able to solve it? Because sometimes it's going to be, maybe some existing capabilities or like database tuning or something like that might be a little bit better for you. But as soon as you get more and more closer to, dealing with more unstructured type of data, that is when you start getting into more utilization of things like, LLMs, right? And so just making sure that you still clearly understand what is sort of the value that you want to drive and, get a good indication of what is the ROI that you ultimately want out of that project. So I think that is really kind of base 101. And then once you start jumping into the AI space, in a lot of cases, when I talk about AI washing, the AI projects really fall into two different buckets. One of them is around generative AI, where predominantly you're going to be using the LLMs. Like you're going to, go to the open AIs or, what Anthropic is doing, what, you might be able to get from Grok, et cetera, from XAI. And that might be enough. Actually, instead of trying to use something from anyone else, maybe just throwing your information into those type of technologies might be enough for you to be able to drive value. And then understand that once you get to more agentic capabilities, which is different than just trying to generate a video or generate a single answer, that you go to the right appropriate vendor that knows how to go do that.
Well said. So, and how does Druid AI, help companies move from this experimentation phase to execution in actual AI adoption?
Yeah, I mean, for us, a lot of it is, when you first kind of jump into it, it kind of seems like magic, like all really cool technology. You end up having that wow moment. But there's a ton of work that we built into the platform for us to be able to get to that accuracy and that level of control. And so to give you an example, in a lot of cases when let's say you're creating some kind of bot or a customer agent or something like that using our technology, it's very common when, let's say, Evan, you log into a customer support bot or something like that on a specific website, a retail website, it'll be very common for our platform to not only understand who you are, but also in the background, even before answering your first question, actually going through somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 plus subroutines and checks in the background.
Wow.
Yes. And it's all happening real time in the background. And so it'll be, it'll think about like, where is Evan dialing in from? What kind of customer is Evan? Did he log in with his account? Where is he logging in from? What is the previous questions that he's asked? What are the previous purchases maybe that Evan has done? What is the next set of questions that Evan may ask? It's already starting to prep all of those questions even before the first answer goes out. And so that is the reason why using the tech, again, we don't put all of that on the customer to implement. It's out of the box. But if you so chose, you can actually dial in and out every one of those dials to make sure that you're giving the most appropriate, the most accurate answer to the customer.
Interesting. You talk to customers day in, day out.
I do. Yeah.
What are the top misconceptions do you think exist out there around enterprise AI that might frustrate you and the team?
It's just a lot of education right now. Evan is sort of where we're at. I think, be it, sort of the Gartner data or the MIT data that I had mentioned. There's a good news, bad news to that, which is a lot of people are kind of fighting through and trying to learn a lot of this technology. The good news is like we're on the other end of that. So because the market is so big and there is so much value coming out of the technology that a lot of people are failing, and they're now starting to understand what makes good utilization of the technology. My biggest heartburn that I personally have, Evan, is the easiest conversations that I usually have with potential customers are ones where they have failed in like multiple projects. Right.
Wow.
And they come in and they're like, oh, we already spent $2 million on this thing. And as soon as we start describing what we do, especially around the areas of, what I would consider like security, trust, control, and also accuracy, there isn't that much more that we have to talk about because it all resonates with them. These are issues that they had fought with, burning a lot of cash up front. So for me, it's more, how do we get to those customers, those potential customers, sooner than, hey, look, we failed and spent $2 million on a project, right? And so that for me is like the biggest heartburn right now. I think once they start utilizing the technology for one specific purpose, so let's say in the same case, Evan, like whatever the retailer is, utilize our technology to help you solve your issue, and the NPS is higher, the need to be able to route it to a real person ends up decreasing, et cetera. What they start to realize is now they can now extend that agentic capability for multitudes of other, use cases internally. And so that's exciting to see. And even there, I wish the aha moment came sooner, to be honest. But it's sort of where we are in the market today.
Indeed. And I was at Gartner and spoke with a global insurance company who has 82 different AI initiatives, projects
Wow.
underway. Do you think this investment is kind of outpacing the ability for organizations to adapt and consume all of this change? What's your take? What's the equation for getting it right?
I think, it's, the difficulty right now, and this is why I'm saying is like, how do you use the right technology for the right business value? Like, you don't want to throw agentic technologies to areas where it may not be the best way for you to be able to solve that problem. But obviously, it's the hottest topic right now, right? Is around agentic AI. Everyone has some kind of technology. I think from that perspective, just because there is going to be a lot of noise, like even internally for enterprise customers, it's not like they can control all the other departments, even if they had the silver bullet, kind of technology. Is take a step back and see if there's any kind of orchestration capabilities out there from any of these vendors, right? And so, certainly, we're one of those vendors where we give you that component where you can not only build the agents utilizing our technology, but if you end up with agents that are from, I don't know, from Salesforce or, from, other vendors as well that are a little bit more vertical than horizontal, we have a orchestration component called the conductor, the Druid conductor. And utilizing it, not only can you orchestrate the different agents that you build on our platform together, but already you can orchestrate our specific agents and other vendor agents as well. So that way, as you have 60 something agents that are being deployed that need to be orchestrated together, if you need to swap things in or out, you can very easily do that without making, just burning cash right now and having to replace and re-implement a lot of those things down the road.
Well done. So everyone's talking about an AI bubble. It's in every media story every day.
Yes.
But how do you see it? I mean, are we getting to peak bubble, or is that just overhyped? And is it maybe just early?
I think the bubble is real. And again, it just has a lot to do with the excitement of what the technology can do, right? And so even when you think back at previous bubbles like the .com bubble, and I know a lot of people equate what's happening in the AI space very much to what happened with the internet. The important thing I think for people to keep in mind is, yes, there was an internet bubble, yes, there was a .com bubble, but think about all of the different innovations and all of the different storefronts and things like that ended up opening up with the internet, right? Without it, I don't know if we would have a lot of the innovations that we have today or the economic growth that we're having today. And so I think it's sort of where we are at the phase of sort of the market. But just like with anything else, if and when a lot of the kind of the tide goes out, there's going to be a ton of useful technologies that come out of this. And so I'm really excited about that.
As am I. I feel like it's transformed my little business and the way I work already. So it's so exciting. What are you looking forward to in the run up to the end of the year, roadmap wise, events wise? Where can people meet you, see you, etc.?
Well, I'm gonna be in a lot of places. I just came back from London in the UK Symbiosis, which is our annual customer event. We're actually going to be holding our customer events, kind of throughout the year. The next one's going to be in New York City on November 6th. And I'll be, going around visiting a lot of customers over the next couple of months. So, always feel free to reach out to, I would say even me personally. You can find my profile on LinkedIn. Always reach out through the website, and we're fairly quick on getting responses back out to potential customers.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for all the insight and updates, and onwards and upwards. Congratulations on the mission.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Evan.
And thanks everyone for listening, watching, sharing this episode. Be sure to check out our companion TV show, techimpact.tv, now on Bloomberg and Fox Business. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.